I present you with a present of a poet's presence in this present moment in time, who provides his picture-perfect penmanship that is pessimistic, pretty sick, and full of pain. That was the first thing I'd ever rhymed, and I was like, whoa, what? What was
your
that?
first poetry was to a piece of bread?
Yeah. It was freestyle to a piece of bread. Yeah, man. An audience is an audience.
That is beautiful.
I quickly jot that down. I wrote it down because I was like, okay, this means something. Your imagination doesn't conjure things up like that for nothing.
I like you very much, Jay.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, so I asked you, what's your opinion on this cancel culture where people...
I come from a generation where we know how to take a joke. Like, it's... I'm not fussed, really, because at the end of the day, like, you can't truly cancel someone. Only if someone goes to an extent where it's like, it's a shame, not to mention Jeffrey Epstein, cancel him. Like, what his crimes are just unthinkable. So that's allowed to be cancelled because but if it's someone who says something a bit not fair, it's like, maybe that person's just uneducated as well. Take that into consideration. There's a lot of people in this world who are uneducated.
Yeah, a lot. And don't you think, like, okay, we all make mistakes.
Exactly, yeah.
That's one thing about humans.
There's sorry to cut you up, but there's a quote I like to live by, and it's like, a mistake made more than once is no longer a mistake, it's a decision.
Yeah, a mistake made more than once is no longer a mistake, it's a decision. So guys, stop making wrong decisions and calling them mistakes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Koh-versation with myself, Francis Koh. Today we got a very, very special guest, and I mean, am I allowed to say you mastered your craft, or you on your way to mastering your craft?
I don't know if anyone can ever be a master of their craft, because there's always different avenues to take. But yeah, sure, why not? Big me up.
Because what I saw you do, you just grabbed me as long as I see where this is going.
Sorry, man.
I see where this is going. I think you know. Can I express myself, JB?
Starting off great.
He's sharp, you know. See what I mean?
Try, man.
He's sharp. You do what you do. I haven't seen anyone do what you do the way you did it.
Thank you.
Literally. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know who Jody is, name is Jody. He's a poet. Can we call you a poet, a performer, an artist? What are we calling you?
Recently, I debated with if I'm a spoken word poet or performance poet. I think I'm more performance poet.
Performance poet.
Like, spoken word, you kind of just stand there and you're speaking words, the art form that is words. But performance poetry, there's much more to it. That can come into slam poetry, that can come into acting, that can come into dance. And I like to perform my work, as you can already tell. So performance poetry is...
Where do you get your influence from?
Anything and everything about life. I'd say the two biggest influences on me would be Robin Williams and Heath Ledger. Robin Williams, because when I was a kid, I'm a film fanatic. I love movies. Like, I'm film fanatic, music manic, artistic addict. Like, that's my shit, essentially. And the first film I ever watched when I was a kid was Hook, Steven Spielberg's Hook, and it's Peter Pan, and it's not one of his best regarded films, but it definitely captured me. And something about Robin Williams, and then I just kept watching movies, and it wasn't until I saw Heath Ledger's performance of the Joker that really captured me. I was like, this is what I want to do.
Let's touch on that. Why did that perform? Because it captured a lot of people. That performance is crazy. I think it took him a long time to recover from that. Apparently,
there's a lot of theories out there. There's a lot of conversations to have about it. But I personally think at the end of the day, you're not well prepared to handle situations of that. Like, when you create a magnum opus of that magnitude, no one's going to be able to handle it. Like, it was overnight fame. Like, he went from, like, before he got the role and when he got the role of the Joker, everyone was saying, to my knowledge in a way, everyone was saying, oh no, he's a Hollywood leading man, that's not for him, he's not going to do it justice. Knocks it out of the park, and then he completely destroys everyone's expectations. It's like, there's talk of like Academy Award this, award that. This is how much it's going to grow. So that's how much it's going to grow. So you've completely changed your career. And when you put a lot of pressure like that onto someone, it's not going to do justice to your mental health. And then he also suffered from insomnia, from what I know. So he wasn't getting a lot of sleep. And it's just an amalgam of things that just hit him.
Yeah, no,
and it's like it wasn't accidental overdose. Like he was apparently the day he passed away, he was going to have a meeting with Spielberg. So that's a big step. That's Steven Spielberg, and at the same time he was filming a movie. So there's night shoots you're dealing with. You're about to have a meeting with one of the biggest directors ever, and you've just created one of the most incredible characters to ever exist in modern cinema. So just, or maybe a quick pill to send me off out. Like, that's all it takes.
That's true. It was a big role, big role, and he did more than justice.
Yeah, way more. He changed acting to essentially like he I wouldn't say he became the character.
I think he did.
I don't like using that word terminology, method acting. I don't like using because I personally feel like it's just a word the media have adopted to box in an actor who's extremely dedicated towards their craft of characterization. Like there's a lot of actors in the world that are very fierce actors, but they never go by being called a method actor, because what is a method actor? Not even Daniel Day-Lewis has said I'm a method actor. Like just because you study method acting, essentially the workings of I can't remember his origins, but an acting practitioner called Konstantin Stanislavski, and that's his work essentially. But when it comes to the craft of acting, there's a lot of different practitioners you can focus on.
You really are a movie band, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been studying performing arts since I was 17, 18. Like this is my life.
Let's go back before that.
Yeah, take it back.
Let's go back. Who are you,
Jody? That's
how other than your name is what we identify you with, but who are you? Like, who is Jody? Because I say that to say this based on your performances. I watched. A lot is going on.
Yeah.
A lot is going on. So who are you?
Oh, damn. This joke would be amazing if I could remember the punchline, but no, A$AP Rocky was like, pretty boy, flacker, Jody. That's me. That's me. I'm that pretty boy. No, who am I? Above all, I would say I'm just a creative individual. I'm an artist. Performing arts is what I love to do the most. Just put a smile on people's faces. Like, even if I'm performing at an event that's free and people haven't paid money for the tickets, I still want to give you your money's worth. I'm an empathetic person.
Yeah, because the drinks ain't free.
Yeah, the
food ain't free. So I definitely got my money's worth.
Nice.
100.
I'm happy.
And how many drinks did we buy? We bought quite a lot of drinks as well. But more getting back to your performances, because you actually said something when you came off stage. I asked you a question like, that piece, where did that come from?
Which one?
First one.
When I started off in the corner. No. Okay, yeah. That I'm currently writing a project called Divulge Evolve, and it's a play about my life, about certain specific memories in my life that I've never disclosed to anyone. But I personally feel like by speaking about your darkest memories is how we can grow, is how you can grow. So the concept of the play is you're divulging these memories in order to evolve. And I'm hoping to evolve from a son into a man, from an amateur artist into a working professional, to this next chapter of my life, because this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, perform and write.
I think that's very brave of you, because not a lot of people can do this, really give access to strangers to their darkest moments. Not only are they the darkest moments, they've been trying to suppress them for years. Mm-hmm. Like they're trying to move on without them.
That's not healthy though, for your for multiple reasons. If you're affecting your mental, you're affecting your physical at the same time.
Because you was at a dark place out in your young
day. Like when I was 18, 19, I was studying performing arts at City of Westminster College, and I auditioned, and the normal route you go for performing arts, for acting, is you go to a drama school. So I auditioned for one of the prestigious drama schools in the world, and my first time ever auditioning for drama school, I get to the final round. Like there's like 3-4 rounds, and I get to the final one. 18 years of age, I come from a single mother, working class background. Stuff like this doesn't happen to people like me. You have to really like know what you're about and really push yourself to get to this point.
Did you know how good you was at 18?
Oh God, no. I was just having fun. I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I knew I have got nothing else going for me. When I was in primary school, around 10 or 11 years of age, I was diagnosed with dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dyscalculia, which are 3 very specific learning difficulties. So dyslexia is the one everybody knows, which affects reading and writing. Dyspraxia is numbers. Dyscalculia is it's numbers, and dyspraxia is hand-eye coordination and balance. All of that, I was essentially an illiterate idiot. I believe it was the educational department that even said to my mum, "Your son won't be able to survive in modern day society."
So let's touch back on going back then now as you are. Mm-hmm. Do you think that was a mistake, or was that an accurate diagnosis back then, and you overcame that?
It was a mistake, because what's the Einstein quote where he says, "Don't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree." Just because somebody looks like they can't do something doesn't mean they can't. If scientists can teach a monkey to play chess, then you can teach a young boy how to read and write. It's not hard. You just need to put in the time and effort. And when I was taking my SATs, because I already knew this stuff in my head, I at the late age of 11, I was having an anxiety attack because I knew I wouldn't be able to do this, and I left the room screaming at 11 years of age, not screaming. I went to the bathroom, and that's when I first started to self-harm myself. I was scratching myself to the point of bleeding and pinching myself and slapping myself, and really dark stuff. An 11-year-old doing that. And the whole reason is because I couldn't spell my name. The first question was name, Jody, a 4-letter word that I could not spell. Why? Did I fail school? No, school failed me. That's the fact of the matter. So my mum decided to take me out of school. Shouts out to my mum. She's, like I say in my play, she's a mixture between a hippie and a suffragette. My mum done absolutely everything she could for her kids. She made sure there was food on the table. She made sure we had hot water. She done absolutely everything. And even herself, she has severe dyslexia. So imagine that. My mum, who can't read and write, is teaching her son how to read and write. So at night, she's technically teaching herself to read and write.
So she can teach you.
Yeah, exactly. Which is an incredible sacrifice. And I love her so much for that. Thank you, Mum. But then again, that doesn't mean it was easy. I also went to I didn't start speaking proper sentences until I was like 8.
What was your school at the time? What school did you go to at the time?
I went to Walmart Park in White City.
I'm hoping by now Walmart Park in White City is a much better school.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so as well. I'm sure it is. I think the educational curriculum has probably changed a lot since then, because now dyslexia and dyspraxia and everything of that nature is more acknowledged.
So if I can take you back to memory lane, what was your teacher? Because in primary school, you just got one teacher. You stay in one class.
One teacher, yeah, multiple lessons.
What was your teacher like towards you? Did she not pick up?
I remember a lot. A child's mind is like a sponge. They absorb everything. So with that being said, I remember in primary school, all they would do was shout and scream. They couldn't control the classroom, which is understandable. One person handling a class of 20 kids. But it's like, that's your responsibility. That's your job to teach. There's a difference between teaching and educating. You're educating these kids. You're preparing them for the next chapters of their life. All I remember of them was just shouting a lot. They tried their best, but then again, there wasn't much funding, and learning difficulties, or as I like to call it, learning diffabilities, because you just learn from a different perspective.
I like that.
Yeah, funding is there because there's been more scientific advances in knowing how the human mind works.
So you're in the bathroom, age of 11, realize like it really hits home. I can't write my name.
Yeah,
you go in there. Scratching yourself. What next?
After that, I remember I was just asked to sit in the hallway playing. That's it. Yeah, I've got it's funny, to my name now, I've got no qualifications. I've got no SATs, or at least back in my day it was called SATs. I've got no GCSEs. I've got no A levels. Didn't go uni. Not a BA. I've got nothing. But yeah, I'm doing pretty damn well for myself, I like to think.
You put words together better than most teachers out there. Honestly.
Thank you.
So knowing this. So, because straight from that, in the UK, whether you pass or fail, you go to secondary school. Knowing this, you can't spell your name.
I didn't go to secondary school. My mum took me out of school and she educated me herself. When the educational board, I think, sent my mum a letter saying I have to go to school, and they tried to put me into a school with kids with behavior problems. I don't have behavior problems. I have the learning diffabilities. There's a difference. I just have to take a little bit more time to learn. But kids with behavioral problems can't physically sit still. So if you're gonna, you're essentially educational segregating us. Like you're putting all of us in one spot. Like, what do you think that's gonna do to someone's mental? Like, so I understand why, but it's not healthy.
You think it's that easier way out that the schools do? They just put everyone in one basket and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So with that, so homeschool till you go college.
Yeah.
So take us back now. You in the final round of the auditions,
and it's really sad. But I was in the final audition, and it hit me the night prior. I realized I come from a working class background. This is one of the most prestigious acting schools in the world. This is the same acting school where people like Benedict Cumberbatch went. People like Chiwetel Ejiofor, really like established Oscar-nominated actors at the top of their game. And it hits me. I'm like, I'll never be able to afford this. I can't pay for a place like this. It wasn't until a couple of years later I realized that they have bursaries and scholarships, but that stuff's not exactly told to you. Like, it's like you have to figure it out for yourself. I mean, what 18-year-old knows anything about scholarships and bursaries, especially coming from a working class background? It's that type of knowledge isn't there for you. But at the audition, I made the stupid decision. I decided to do a bad audition because I'd much rather of not being accepted than get accepted and not being able to go. So I purposely done a bad audition, and that's when the spiral happened. That's when I went down. I think that was the spark of mental health issues for me.
How low did you go?
Well, it's what happens next that I went lower. It's like an abyss. It's deeper and deeper and deeper. So after that happened, my mum told me that I need to get a job. So I got so I was on job seekers for a while, but I still wanted to follow acting. So I decided to take up a theatre course at a theatre in Ealing. I won't mention the name of, because I don't want to out them like that.
They didn't do you no wrong, so we okay.
Yeah.
Well, we hope.
They to an extent. They done some wrong. They done some wrong. But
let's hold them accountable for their wrongs right now.
For something. But I went to this theatre. I studied acting there with theatre, and keep in mind, like, I've got all this stuff bubbling in my head that I feel like I'm an idiot, essentially. Like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. But as I was at this theatre, I made there was a girl. Obviously, there's always a girl. There's always a girl. There's always a girl. And there was also a guy as well. And like, it's the whole love triangle. I like her. She likes him. He's my friend. Me and her flirt. It's really bad stuff. So so with all that, so I flunked the last audition. I'm in a love triangle. Three-way triangle. There was a bar there that was like £1.50 a pint, so I started drinking a little bit more.
I remember those days.
Yeah, drinking excessively.
And you're on job seekers allowance.
Job seekers, yeah, which is even more depressive. Like, people at job seekers, they treat you like crap. Like, you're not a member of society. It's awful. So all of that going up, and I just couldn't take it anymore. The weight of the world on my shoulders. I was like, I can't. It was that whole thing of I want to kill myself, but I don't want to be dead. Yeah,
explain that. I
tried to commit suicide 3 times because of it.
But you didn't want to die.
I didn't want to die, yeah. I didn't want to put that, because just because you're dead, that doesn't mean the pain's gone. You just transfer the pain onto your loved ones, and I didn't want that.
So you actually thought on a deeper level for your parent, your mum, who you love
my mum,
dearly.
my sister, my brother. My sister just had a daughter at the time, so my niece.
So what was the process like for you trying to commit suicide the first time?
I just couldn't take this anymore. It was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I can't stand the people I'm being around. No one understands me. And it was also at that time, because when depression kicks in and all that, and my mum thought it'd be best for me to get some type of diagnosis. So I went to a therapist, a psychologist, and they diagnosed me with mild Asperger's, so mild autism. Which makes sense, because if you take dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dyscalculia and you put them all together, it technically puts you onto the autistic spectrum. But when that happened, I was like, oh great, more bullshit I have to handle, more crap on my shoulders. Then I went off and researched it, and I was like, right, I'm a retard now. It's on paper. I'm an official retard. So that's
so how are you feeling within yourself at this point?
Angry, man. Just felt like I let everyone down. I felt like I am what the educational board said, I'm a literal idiot. I'm not smart. I'm not good looking. I'm not anything.
It's interesting you say you felt like you let anyone down. How did you derive to that?
Because,
feeling?
Like I said, where I come from, opportunities like going to a prestigious acting school or private acting school is rare. Like, it just doesn't happen much. So like I felt like I can get my family, I get my mum out of this working class environment. I can change our family stars. I put a lot of pressure on myself, which is putting pressure on yourself isn't necessarily a bad thing at times if you know how to handle it. Because how are diamonds made? Pressure. Yeah, but you have to know how to balance it for sure.
So we're in there, and the second time, was it easier to derive to the conclusion I'm gonna kill myself, or is it just as hard as the first time?
When it comes to suicide or anything of that nature, it's a bit like I can never think either if it's an oxymoron or a juxtaposition of like addiction, of like relapsing, because you the person, you can relapse on mental health issues, but mental health is addicted to you, if that makes sense. So you can be all fine and dandy one day and that one trigger, like, but what if I'm not fine? Relapse. Like, you can go back into that cycle of feeling fed up and angry and wanting to kill yourself. So that's what it was like. The first time I tried to kill myself. It's actually funny because I tried to kill myself the same way Robin Williams killed himself, with hanging a belt onto a hook and just tying my head around it, neck, and just pulling. And I was actually very nearly ready to nod off, but it was like as soon as I did, my hand just naturally let go. It was like a instinct. There was a reflex. And normally when you just let go, you just fall onto the belt and you just hang there, and you'll die even slower. But somehow I managed to slip through the belt. So that was like, okay. I'm there on the floor crying, like thinking to myself, I'm such a piece of shit that I can't even kill myself. That's low. That's really low. But then I realized, this happened for a reason. So I got up and I took it a day at a time, slowly working myself, slowly building myself back up.
What's that process like? Because you're still alone. Are you speaking to anyone right now?
So this is where poetry comes in. I woke up one day, and I don't know how, don't know why, don't know where, but one day I woke up and I had this profound interest in words. Don't know what it was, just words, something about them, the way they're said, something about them, like rhyming words. I don't know. It's like and something about the elegance of eloquence, just that.
What's your reading ability and writing ability at this stage?
It's still not very good. Like at the theatre I was going to, like they made fun of me because I couldn't read. Like it's still not bad. Like my reading ability now still isn't great, but
right now it don't need to be.
But my writing ability though is something else.
And your memory game is insane.
But yeah, I had a profound interest in words, and I used writing as a tool of just as a therapeutic tool, just to get all my emotions out. And I was actually working at Sainsbury's at the time, and I was stacking bread onto a shelf, and out of nowhere, I don't know why, it was like a freestyle, I naturally said, I present you with a present of a poet's presence in this present moment in time, who provides his picture-perfect penmanship that his pessimistic, pretty sick, and full of pain. That was the first thing I'd ever rhymed, and I was like, whoa, what was that?
Your first poetry was to a piece of bread?
Yeah. It was freestyle to a piece of bread. Yeah, man. An audience is an audience.
That is beautiful.
I quickly jot that down. I wrote it down because I was like, okay, this means something. Your imagination doesn't conjure things up like that for nothing. I kept it, and then one line at a time. And then another day, I just naturally said, "Hey, yo, am I autistic or am I artistic?" Like, whoa. These two words sound so perfect together. I was like, okay, let me keep these. And then another couple lines happened. And next thing you know, I have an 7.5, 8 minute long rhyming monologue about the trials and tribulations of being autistic and artistic, whilst being trapped in a love triangle, and with numerous references to Greek mythology. And I was like, okay, this doesn't happen. That writing poetry to to an extent saved my life. If I woke up and that profound interest in words and I just brushed it off, I was like, oh, whatever, I probably wouldn't be here.
So with that, you still went back the third time.
Yeah, because like I said, it was it's like a relapse. Like that second the thought of not feeling worthy hits, you can just go back. So again, it was less wanting to die. It was more so feeling the pain of death. Oh, but then I stopped what I was doing and I made a promise to myself. I was like, no, this is the last time. Done. No more. And I can proudly say that I haven't put a belt around my neck since.
Well done.
Yeah, just through writing. Thanks, man.
No, honestly, that's that. So, with that said, because for me, I've always said this: anyone that's ever committed suicide or contemplating committing suicide, I think they're a mixture of two. One, most selfish person, and two, the most bravest person. That's for me. That's my take on it. And in one hand, I can understand because it gets too much. What do? Do you know what? Maybe that I'm not worth. I'm not good enough. Why am I here? So I understand that side. Then I'm like, but you got loved ones, as you said, your mom, your brother, friends. So I never can understand. And what we do. So for someone like me, that the thought of contemplating suicide has never entered my mind. But however, I'm not saying it can never. Perhaps I haven't been to the places you've been. What can someone like me, people like me who don't understand suicide, what can they look for, those telltale signs, to help young people who are once where you were?
When I was in the deepest parts of it, my sleeping pattern was off. I was sleeping during the day quite a lot. I was big into napping. So maybe that's always something to keep an eye out for. And just if somebody's just not their normal self, their character's changed. Like I remember my mum telling me like I've changed, like I was just different. Like there was, when I was younger, I had such a vibrant energy to me, and then when I was in the abyss, it was gone. So keep an eye out for the small details. I would say that's the biggest one. And also your when I say diet, I don't mean what you're eating. I mean what your the diet of your mentality, like what you're listening to, what you're watching, what the people you're hanging around with. That can be a big factor into it all.
Right now, being a beautiful place that you are, what is the diet of your mentality look like?
Hungry. Like I'm hungry. I've found my path. There's a quote I have in my play where I say, when you're driven with tunnel vision, how can you not create a lane for yourself?
Jeez.
So I'm very hungry. Like to go back actually, when I wrote the play or the poem Artistic, the first poem I ever wrote, a friend of mine at the time said to me, "Yo, you should perform this. You should." So he showed me the lyric evolution night, lyric theatre in Hammersmith. They have a scratch night where emerging artists can put on their work and to test that out on an audience. So I performed the poem, and one of the artistic directors of the lyric theatre came to me and said, "You actually have potential to write a play." And it was around that time I was actually thinking to myself, maybe I've actually got potential to write a play. So it just naturally aligned. And like one of my favorite poets, a Puerto Rican poet from Harlem in New York, a man called Lemon Anderson, he wrote a play called The County of Kings, The Beautiful Struggle. And it's a one-man play about his life. And it was like, that was a big hit. It was like, oh, if this guy, a poet, can write a solo play, then I can write a solo play. And then the lyric theatre telling me you have potential to write a play. Like, oh, the dominoes are just falling. And I was like, so I juggled with the idea of like writing it here and there, little line here and there. And then it wasn't until like 2-3 years ago, I was like, let's just do this. Fuck it.
So the words comes to you. In theatre school, people were laughing at you. How did you say, okay, I'm going to merge the two together? How did that happen?
I wouldn't call myself a hip hop head, but I'm big into the hip hop culture. I love like Eminem. I love words. And then I thought at that time anyway, I'd never seen a play that incorporates lyricism like that. Musical theatre is one thing, but I mean like straight dramas. How come no one's ever experimented with a play that rhymes from beginning to end? And I was like, if no one's done it yet or that I know of, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the first one. Screw it. Why not?
And how far into that are we writing the play?
I've got 3 more sections to do, and then I'm done.
So it's a 12 stage poem, 12 parts poem?
10.
10.
But you know the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Know how they're known for doing an after credit something?
Yeah.
It's never been done in theatre.
How would that look like?
Pardon?
How would that look like? Is that after the clap and you take a bow?
Come to find out.
When is the date?
I don't know when the date is, man, but I'll keep you informed. I'm not giving away all my secrets.
You never know, ladies and gentlemen. You might see me in the theatre near you, you know?
It's something I've never seen in theatre, so I'm like...
That's because you're a big Marvel fan, isn't
Yeah, I'm big into my movies.
Jeez, that's amazing. So, your work, right?
It's crap. It's terrible. Yeah, I know.
Guys, don't even say it. It's not even worth it. I don't even know why we're doing this.
Heartbreaking, man.
Oh my gosh. How long does it take to write a piece?
Oh man.
Actually, no. Before you answer that, let me ask another question, and we'll get back to that one.
Oh.
How painful is it for you to write your pieces? Because you're going back, and this is about you.
Yeah, this is the deepest memories.
People feel it. So how painful is it for you? And don't you get scared just in case you trigger something and go back to the abyss, so you call it?
Honestly, not really. I think it's kind of fun because I know I'm in a better place now, so I know that I can step in there and like get really deep and dark and be like, I know I'm going to be fine. Like I'm mentally and emotionally mature enough to be able to handle it. Yeah.
No, I know you probably think why they're clapping, but that is amazing.
But don't get me wrong. Like I'm currently writing a bit in my play that I won't say what it's about, but it's about a certain person that I know, and it travels the span of like 40 decades. It's not just my life; it's about this person's life as well, and it goes into my life. And it's difficult to write because there's certain very specific that happened during my childhood with this person, and it's like it's not easy to write about. Like it was just this Sunday gone that I broke out into tears. It's just difficult to write. It's really difficult. It's not easy because it's a maturity thing as well. Like from where I was to where I am now.
So it can be painful but fun at the same time.
Yeah, because it's art. Like I'm expressing myself. And that's all art ever should be.
Then how do you choreograph your words? Is it something that comes natural itself, or is it something you try this and say, no, this movement doesn't work with this word, it's then funny. You go back?
The movement is improvised. It's just however I feel when I'm performing it. But when it comes to actual writing, it's the taste of the word. If they don't flow, like for example, I'm very intricate with the words. Like there has to be a nice flow of it. So for example, when it comes to the elegance of eloquence, I'm within my element of intelligence. You know that it flows naturally. So say
that again. When it comes to the elegance of my eloquence, I'm intelligent to know my elements and show that I'm.
When it comes to the elegance of eloquence, I'm within my element of intelligence. I will make you look and feel irrelevant.
Right now, he just made me feel irrelevant. Yeah. So I can't even remember the word of it. I
stand out in this room like an elephant. Off the top. But yeah, see how it flows like that. That's
poetic.
It's poetic. Yeah, it's the taste.
Beautiful.
It's the taste of the words.
So how long does it take to write that piece, or any of your piece? Is there a time frame?
That one took me a couple seconds because I was just on the train like. But when it's like comes to a full scale like section, it take me up to like 2 to 6 months because I wouldn't say I'm a perfectionist. I have standards with my work. You know, like a lot of people work until sundown. I grind until sun up.
Jeez.
Like I take this very seriously. And I want to do it for the rest of my life. And if you want to do it for the rest of life, you have to put in those hours. It's like I said to you guys earlier, when it comes to living a life of paradise, not even a sacrifice will suffice. When it comes to living a life of paradise, not even a sacrifice will suffice. Now, you have to treat it like it's your baby. You have to love it. You have to cherish it. You have to care for it. And also the whole manifest what you want into existence. I want this play like touch wood or marble at this case, but I want this play to work out for me. I really, really do.
I mean, I
haven't like put in 3 years of my life for it to be a flop.
I'm not an expert in plays and that, but from what I saw, based on how I felt, because we were looking around what everyone felt, and based on the standing ovation you got after,
I was a surprise.
Everyone felt it, and I believe it's gonna work.
Thank you.
It has to.
Yeah,
and it comes from within you, and I think a lot of people are just grateful that you can allow us into your darkest points in your life, but you allowed it to shine. So with that said, what advice would you give a young kid out there who is currently going through exactly what you went through? Because hindsight is a beautiful thing. You know, now you can sit back and laugh, not laugh on heart, but it's like smile, like it brings you joy, because those dark times equals you right now.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be who I am today without those dark times.
Exactly.
There's always going to be rain before the rainbow. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. I would suggest one day at a time. Don't go.
What's that one day at a time look like? Because it's you've been through it, so you know what you're talking about. But for me, I can say that to everyone. How? Because for me, because for you, it came without you knowing. It came from words. You in there stacking bread, and boom, magically. How can one find themselves if it doesn't come to them?
Go back and self discover yourself, rediscover. So the things you loved as a kid. So like if you're a child and you really enjoy drawing, but depending on how old you are, if you're in your early 20s like I was, go back to drawing. You never know what kind of therapy that's going to bring you.
Go back to your childhood, draw if you can. Find your happiness.
Yeah, for me, like I loved watching movies as a kid, so I went back and watched all my favorite films, and then just listened to music. I found myself by getting lost in art. You know, like there's a quote by, I don't know word for word, but the late actor Alan Rickman, who played Severus Snape in the Harry Potter series. He said, in order to be, I think it's along these lines, in order to be a great artist, open up your imagination to all the different forms of art. Like if you like dancing, then look into contemporary, look into street, look into ballet. Yeah, if you like music, like go to your favorite artist. So one of my favorite artists at the moment is Kendrick Lamar. So Kendrick Lamar, who inspires Kendrick Lamar, Tupac, who inspired Tupac, Dr. Dre, who inspired Dr. Dre, Marvin Gaye, Marvin Gaye, who inspires Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, who inspires Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone. All these incredible artists, take it back, and then to say again, find yourself by getting lost.
I didn't even know that. I'm a music fan. I didn't know. It's beautiful how you traced it back all the way there.
A lot of history to music. A lot of history.
Yeah. So with you being where you've been, how important is friendships to you, and what kind of friends do you keep around you?
That's gonna sound so corny, but real G's move silent.
I
keep my group very like I have a lot of mates. I know a lot of mates. I have good mates, but I have very few friends. If you have more fingers than friends, that means you've got a handful of bullshit to deal with.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I've made a new friend recently called Rihanna. Not the Rihanna, but Rihanna. Shout out to Rihanna. Yeah, she's cool. I met her at a poetry event, and she was really cool. Yeah, cool.
Which piece was you doing when you met Rihanna? Just curious.
Dagger, the slow jam, white chocolate. But yeah, the first time I actually ever performed that poem went nuts. Yeah. I'd never experienced anything like that. People were just like, oh my Lord, standing ovation, like the entire. That's my first time actually ever writing comedy as well.
Yeah,
over lockdown. I challenged myself to write a comedy piece. And it was the poem was supposed to be about the first time how I lost my virginity, and it just naturally turned into something completely different. It's the same, like a true experience. All of my work is from real life experiences.
You have a connection in your work, and that shows through. What does it feel like when you're on stage?
Oh man, I'm in my element.
Describe that.
I'm in my element, man. It's funny, but reality, like normal day life, I feel like I'm in a cage. But when I'm on the stage, I feel like I can break free. Wow. I'm the truest version of me. I love it so much. I love making people smile. I've making them drop jaw. I like making them cry. I love it. Like I really, like you have no idea. Like you can tell from the sound of my voice. I can love it. I love being in, and it's not even like a rush and egotistical thing. I enjoy being there for people. I like putting a smile on people's faces because I know what it's like to be very unhappy. So that's the last thing I want people to go through. And even when I'm performing a piece that's very emotional and dramatic, it's like, hey, I'm here. Like it was just in that moment right then and there. It was difficult, but
for the love that poetry brings to you,
performing mostly, I'd say.
Okay, why do you think it's underrated in the UK?
Poetry,
because it's not as big as it should be.
It's not as big as it should be, that's for sure. But it's getting bigger. It's been getting bigger because if you focused on the Camden Roundhouse, they host a yearly poetry slam.
But even that yearly, that's too long.
Yeah.
In my opinion, as a fan, I guess I would like to sit more.
Honestly, I think a big part of it, personally, I would say would be funding. There's always cuts and there's always arts cuts, unfortunately, and it's not fair because like it's a way of life for some people. Art, and if you think about it, a lot of things that make society, like this building wouldn't be here without architecture. Architecture is an art form. Like, why would you cut the arts? To cut art is you're damning society. That's a stupid move.
Yeah, guys, if you're listening, please more funding for poetry because it allows. Poetry saved lives. If it wasn't for poetry, this man would not be here right now having this conversation. And with that said, what advice would you give to anyone who's looking to get into poetry? Sorry.
Whoever it is, poet wise, that has captured you, focus on their work, and then I wouldn't say copy, but copy and paste in a sense, like their style of writing. Whoever you're inspired by, you will naturally create your own style. Like because I'm a fan of theatre. A lot of theatre people and then a lot of rappers, so that's naturally blended my style. So if you're a fan of, say, Kate Tempest and then George the Poet, there you go. Yeah, you'll naturally blend.
Terrell Lewis.
Yeah, and Maya Angelou. I can't pronounce her name. It's very I don't want to say old. Definitely not old. A masterful writer. She was Maya Angelou, I believe. I can't pronounce her name. It's really unprofessional of me, but
no.
Yeah. Whoever it is that got you into poetry, look at their work, and then you start writing your own work, and whatever it is that inspired you will motivate your own style. That's probably the best advice I could give. And also look, go out. Like I didn't start performing at open mic venues until lockdown actually happened. So I started surfing the open mic scene with an event in Shoreditch called Lunar Legacy. Then lockdown was like on and off. So it felt like a year, but from performing my first gig to meeting you lovely gentlemen, it was my headline gig. So I headlined within 5 months, which was thanks to lockdown. So surf the open mic scene because you'll meet contacts.
So that was your first headline?
Yeah, first ever headline.
Jesus, have they booked you back?
They haven't booked me back. We'll see. Hit me up.
Hit me up. Definitely
Soft,
will.
hit me up, man.
Because that was
Abdul,
amazing.
come on, man, come on. But I should be doing another event. Not, I don't want to say the company yet, the event organizer yet, because it's not been confirmed. But I should be doing another one in November.
We headlining that as well?
Yes, that's gonna be a headline. 15 minutes. But yeah, surf the open mic scene wherever it is you are, because you'll meet other poets who are like you.
Sorry.
Like-minded.
15 minutes is a long time on stage. How many?
Not long enough for me.
Wow. So that's what I was going to ask.
So that's cocky. That's arrogant.
No,
that's arrogant, man.
It's confidence.
Yeah, confidence. I guess you can.
It's
you
confidence.
Can say that.
You know
there's
your
fine
work.
Line, there's a fine line between cocky and confidence.
Yeah, but your work speaks for itself.
I like to think so.
I definitely don't think you're being cocky. That's what I was going to ask. How many pieces would you do in 15 minutes?
Well, when you guys saw me,
3, didn't you?
I done 4.
4.
I done 4, and that was 20 minutes. So I'll do. I could either squeeze in 3, or I'll give you a great 2.
So 7.5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, for all you poets out there. I wrote my first piece, and I think my piece was 2 minutes. I'm telling you, I'm coming.
Sorry.
I think mine was what, just under 2 minutes, and I thought that was long.
I love the click.
Yeah, what is the click, by the way?
I have no idea.
Where did the click?
I don't know where the history of it comes from. I honestly think it's when people are performing, like, and you really and something really resonates with you. If you start clapping, it's gonna stop the person. But by clicking it's subtle.
If anyone knows the history behind the clicking, and please let us. What's the other one? Clicking and the other one, stamp your feet.
Yeah, that's
like
too
that.
Disruptive. The clicking, it's nice though. It's whenever I hear the click, I don't know why, but I always think of the French countryside. Don't know why. No idea. French countryside and jazz music. Who knows?
Jazz I can see.
Jazz can see. And maybe
French
like
countryside I can't.
And like something with a cigarette, but there's smoke going out.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for all you poets out there, remember 7.5 minutes is the target, please. But I'm sure you elite poets, that's easy. That's light work.
It depends on the poet.
Yeah, that's true. How important? I know you've answered that. I know surfing the open mic got you headline within 5 months. How important is that for the up and coming artists out there? How important is that?
Well, it was a year, but because of lockdown.
Yeah. But if we said a space,
I would say 5 to 6 months. So what was the question?
How important is going to open mics and performing for free, giving your time, sharing?
It's really important because you're going to meet some great contacts. Like when I started performing doing the Legacy in Shoreditch, I met a lovely young woman called Kizzy, and she gave me the opportunity. It was actually, she gave me my professional poetry spoken word debut, because I'd done work for the Mayor of London peer outreach team from World Mental Health. And like, you never know who does what in the world. Like you have no idea. Like when I met you guys at in BYOB, I never knew you had a podcast. I thought you were just showing love, and now we're here.
No, we were showing love, and we're still showing love, and we'll continue showing love.
You never know. So it isn't about what you know; it's about who you know.
No, that is true.
Yeah, but you also your work has to be able to back it up. Like if you go around saying, "Yeah, I'm the best poet this, I'm the best rapper that," and then you put on the mic and you're like, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, you're gonna get laughed at. And like there's people, there's like, this ain't a game to people. Like there's people are hungry. Like, not to sound cocky, but I'm hungry. Like I want this. Like it's all love, but it's a friendly competition at the same time. Like
competition there's nothing wrong with competition.
There's nothing wrong with competition. Like,
I don't think there's
nothing wrong with confrontation either. Like they're natural things of life.
It's a way of communicating. As long as the outcome betters both parties.
Both parties, yeah.
And that's what it should do. Not
like look at rap battles. Like some people take it a bit far and gangbang and all that, but the
essence of rap battle is challenge another opponent to be.
I'm gonna look at you in the eye. I'm gonna cuss your mum out with the better verse. Let's see what you got.
That's it, and then we shake hands after.
Exactly,
and
you
be cool and go write better bars. Yeah. Let's finish off. What is your process stages? What stages do you go through to writing your piece?
It varies. I mean, I don't think I even have a process. I think for me, I'd say I like the idea of when people are able to take a complex subject and simplify it. So let's go back to acting with Stanislavski and method acting. So Konstantin Stanislavski had his theory of method acting, and then a couple years later, probably like 20, 30, however years later, a man named Stanford Meisner and Stella Adler came along. A man and a woman, Stanford Meisner and Stella Adler, they essentially took his work and they took the bits of it they liked and they add their own sprinkle. So they simplified it. If you're able to take a complex subject and simplify it, then it will be universally understood. So when it comes to my writing, I want the poem to be so picture perfect that you can imagine it. Therefore, it's simple because then everyone can understand it. Because I know from personal experience, there's some poets that have performed work in really abstract ways, and like not everyone's mind works like that. Right? Like it's not exactly fair to some extent, and that's your artistry. If that's the way you like to work, who am I to judge? I'm nobody. I'm just at the end of the day, I'm Jody. I'm just Jody. Like, but I also know that there's a lot of people in this world, because I was one of them, whose minds don't work like that, who need a little bit more attention to detail and simplicity. Yeah, not simplicity, but attention to detail. Like to go back to Nas, like rapping about from the perspective of a gun, and nobody would ever think to do that. But there's a lot of detail in that.
No, that's beautiful. So how we close the show? I open the show, which I did, and then you close the show. That is your
closing
camera.
It? I was having fun.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do over here. We have fun. I have
a question for you, actually.
Yes, go on.
So you said you wrote your first poem.
Yes.
What made you want to write your first poem?
I like to challenge myself because
nice.
I believe I'm a good talker. So I wanted to find a way if I can. Well, he's the professional, so he's judging me, innit? Apparently, I need to work on my talking skills.
Talking skills, sorry, man.
You like them. You like them. They always take the mick out of my accent.
Man, that's unprofessional.
Like no, I like you. I like you. So what I just wanted to challenge myself. Can I do this? And it was interesting.
What was it about, if you don't mind me asking?
Time.
Nice.
It was about numbers.
Numbers and time.
So numbers. So the whole thing was about numbers. And when it finally came, it then derived into time, because numbers and time, you measure time through numbers. Mm-hmm. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Yeah. And days come in numbers, months come in numbers. And so you can't hear it just yet.
It's not done.
It's done, but we're still refining a few.
Nice. No, that's good.
Yeah,
cool.
A few things. You hear it very soon. It's
enough.
Nowhere near your levels. Just putting it out there. Nowhere near, but
no, to you it's not. To me it could be. You never know.
No,
it could be.
No, it's good.
Yours.
It's good. I'm not gonna lie.
You're happy with it?
Very happy, but I don't have the. I'm working on it. So it's a work. So it's working.
I didn't have it at the start. It took a lot of time for me to work on it.
Yeah,
but I think because I do have a performing background, that it did make things a little bit more easy.
There you go. So I'm actually. It's funny you say simplify something. So I'm working on my craft. I'm working. So hopefully one day when you start putting on your own shows, I can come in for a little tiny 30-second cameo.
Oh man, of course, I'm down.
Don't worry, you hear it soon. Don't worry. I promise you. I promise you.
Nice.
It's the first guest that ever asked me a question. No, thank you. We spoke a lot about your poems, and you dropped little hints about your poems. But where can they find you?
Instagram. I'm very like.
I know you're hard to find.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of social media. I'm really not a fan of it. Which is terrible because you do have to promote yourself. Yeah. But then again, my mental well-being is like
sacred.
Yeah, sacred place, and as anyone should be. But like, yeah, like follow me on Instagram. I mean, I'm sure I just changed my username on it, so I can't remember right now. But
_ Jody .y.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Don't worry, we got you.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, just follow me on Insta, and I literally just put up things that I'm working on. So like events that I'm going to perform at and stuff like that. I don't put up anything of my professional life. It's just
work,
personal.
Yeah.
I don't put up anything of my personal life. Just professional.
you're a business, you're a brand, as it should be. Well, at least we cleared that up. So, ladies and gentlemen, you won't find him on YouTube. You'll find him on Insta.
Sorry, maybe on YouTube. Maybe soon. I'm trying. I don't know about soon, but I'm trying to work on that one.
You definitely gonna find him on YouTube because he's working on something that is. I can't even say it for him, but you will find him soon on YouTube. You find him on FK Studio Spoken. Yes, we got that. And let's leave it there. Don't worry, you'll find him. No, I was gonna say. I was gonna say other people probably got your stuff out there on their social media.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And things like that. But no, you're super talented.
Thank you.
Thank you
for having me.
No, thank you for coming. So what you have to do now? That is your camera. You close the show anyhow you want to close it. You want to sing, you want to dance, you want to do another piece, you want to say anything, whatever, however you want to click, however you want to close the show, it's on you. I don't get involved in that.
White chocolate out. Oh Lord, that's gonna go with me to the grave now. White chocolate. Yeah, thank you for having me. Peace and love. And when it comes to life, days, weeks, months, and years may feel long at times, but life itself is short. So just enjoy it. Just enjoy the time you have. That's really it. Thank you. And
he's hungry.
I'm hungry. I'm real hungry for this poetry stuff. I'm hungry. All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to share, subscribe, comment, and like. Till next time, love, peace, and happiness. Yes. Jody.